Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jim Whale, and this is episode number 38 of the Sports Consiglieres Podcast. Along with me is my partner, Jerry Calla. Jerry, how you doing today,
Good,
partner?
Jimmy. How are you?
All right. Our next guest hailed from Atlantic City High School. He took his talents to Queens, where they didn't have any dorms at the time, so it was a long way to commute. But he played for legendary Lou Cornacecca. He's a member of the St. John's Final Four team in 1985. He's on the Slam all-time top 50 dunk list. And it's our pleasure to introduce to you the next guest, Willie Glass. Willie, how you doing today?
How you doing today? Good.
Yeah, sorry, I had a little senior moment there, so sorry. But listen, I know we've been going back and forth, but it really, I guess timing-wise, is probably the best time to have you on the show. I know St. John's is squaring off with UConn this weekend, but have you been following the team this year?
Oh yes, I'm very proud. It's good to see them in the tops, and because it's been a long time coming. So, yes, I'm very happy that they are playing well. Rick has them really going really well.
And have you made it to any games yet at the
Well, I was supposed to be going, but I just had hip surgery, so I'm hopefully going to try to make the one in March, and I'll take my kids and things and my girl to the game.
Okay, all right. How you feeling? Because I know you. That's one thing.
I'm able to walk right now, so it took a long time coming, but like they say, the pain got me back in there, so I'm starting to walk. Yeah, I'm not dunking yet, but.
All right, yeah, well, that's all right. Well, listen,
Give it a few weeks.
Yeah, I never dunked, so listen, we envy you about that. But we had Billy Martin on the show when Jerry and I first started. I started out solo, and then I brought Jerry along, and then he talked a little bit about Atlantic City basketball. I think you're a little bit older than him. Just talk about a little bit about growing up in Atlantic City at that time. I know, doing research for the show, you said your mom suggested that you run on the beach. To kind of build up your endurance, and then that's probably got what you credit it, get your spring in your step for dunking. Just talk about a lot about growing up in Atlantic City, and also I know that you also kind of split time in North Carolina as well.
Yeah, well, I got it. Like I said, being in Atlantic City, there's a lot of basketball talent, especially like on Pennsylvania Avenue, where you get a lot of guys. Where I used to just stand on the outside of the fence and watch ball players that would come down. Wilt came down there, and then we had Atlantic City's own Gene Hudgens, and just watching these guys play on Pennsylvania Avenue, where it was just a small court, but the talent that was there, even Marvin Gaye was there, which I had an autograph signing where he signed my mother's picture. My brother took him into the house, he signed the picture, and it's funny because my mom was upstairs and never knew who was downstairs, and he said, "Who was that?" And he said, "That's my mom," and he signed the picture. And just the talent that will come through Atlantic City. So Atlantic City has a lot of talent, is a lot of people don't really know, but Atlantic City has full of talent all over in sports.
Yeah, and then what did you do in the summertime though? Because did you? I know Bobby said he would go into the Sunny Hill League. What did you guys do? What did you do? I know, like you say, I know you're a couple of years older, but what did you do in the summer?
Oh well, that's where I started. I used to take a lot of the younger kids just to see the games at the Baker League. We used to play even when we was in college and high school. We used to go to Philly to play the AAU teams. I played with North Jersey, and I played with a team in Philly in the AAUs. But it was just like all around playing. Wherever I can go to play, I'm going to go. If I have to jump on the bus, Mom would give me money to jump on the bus. So I'm jumping on the bus. I just wanted to play. And you playing against better talent than what's home is just going to make you better.
Yeah. Did you ever play against Middletown South when you were? My uncle was a coach of Middletown South there. I think they were Group 4. I mean, he had a good run down there. But you ever played Middletown South?
I don't recall playing now.
Okay, all right. I know that their big rival was Camden. But then you end up going to St. John's. How did they find you from Atlantic City? Because I had Matt Brust on the show, and Cornacecca said if it wasn't worth anything more than 50 miles is not worth recruiting. And I said, what about Bill Wellington? And he told me Bill Wellington went to high school in Long Island. So how did they find you, St. John's?
Well, the funny thing with that is, I know I was getting mail from St. John, and I really didn't know them yet. And at the time, we had Mayor Jim Ushry was the one who took me to St. John to meet. And once I went there and I visited coach and staff, and then when I met Coach Consiglieres, you just fell in love with him and how he was just talking about, and he was like, "We would love to have you here, and the Big East is going to be starting growing." And it was like really, I think maybe the second or third season that the Big East was really just starting. So and I looked at the class and things, and it was a decision between St. John's and North Carolina State. DePaul was my final picks, and Consiglieres was the one that really had me turn the tides to go to St. John's. And the day I was going to pick the school where I was going, I called Coach Consiglieres and I said, "Today I'm picking where I'm going to college at." And he said, "Congratulations," because somebody told him I was going to North Carolina. Why? I don't know. I don't know where he came from. And the next thing I know, I said at the end of the school day, we having a press conference here at Atlantic City High. And next thing I know, Coach Consiglieres pulling up in the front of the building. And you're not allowed to park your car in the front of the building, but Coach Consiglieres, he parked his car in the front of the building and came in.
Yeah. So I'll pass this along to Jerry. Jerry, why don't you?
Hey, Willie, listen, thanks for joining the program. Like Jimmy said, we had fellow Atlantic City legend Bobby Martin on, University of Pittsburgh. I have to confess before the interview goes further, like I told Bobby, I'm a Georgetown Hoya fan. So our last guest was Bill Martin. We also had Gene Smith. Bill Martin was very complimentary of the Johnnies. So I just want to put that out there. But what was it like going through the recruiting process? What was the difference in dealing with Coach Consiglieres, Coach Valvano, and Coach Joey Meyer? Because you said DePaul, NC State, and the Johnnies.
Well, the thing was, it's like, Coach Valvano was wonderful. I got a chance to meet like Eric Wittenberg and them. And my family is in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. So, the first thing I said, "Can you take me to visit my cousins?" And he said, "I hate this place. I hate this place." Talk about Chapel Hill. So, it was pretty nice. And but I still didn't feel that tingle to say this is where I wanted to go. Then Dallas Comegys, which is a good friend of mine, which I played with in the AAUs, he was like, "Man, you need to come out here with me, and we can tear it up and things." And it was just too cold for me out that way. And like I said, when you meet Coach Consiglieres, come to find out, like you said, when it's like he's going to be like a dad to you. Throughout my 4 years, it was like his dad. His door was always open, no matter what time you can call him. He's ready to talk. And, even till the last time I saw him, he knows everything about you. And he always smiled with the tap on the face. And, it's just like, you can't help but to love him. Like I said, he's like a dad to a whole bunch of us that played at St. John's. And, he'd be sadly missed for sure.
Absolutely. Now, when you get to campus, who was the first student athlete that you connected with?
David Russell. That was my man. And I watched him and I was looking at him and I was like, because he was close to my height, and I'm just looking like how he was, and I just loved his game, period, and to be left-handed. And then I met Chris, and Chris was just down to earth. It's like having a brother there, and he was like having a brother there as long as I was there. So we was roommates a lot of time. We went on the road and things, and he used to mess with me all the time, talking about, "You love cartoons, I see." I say, "Oh yeah, no doubt about it." And to this day, I watch cartoons with my kids and keep going. I don't care how old I get.
Hey, you need a release. I get it.
Yeah.
But I mean, now you're coming in, and again, me and Jimmy always say this, with our quote unquote, our Big East, guests that we have, because they're all legendary. I mean, you were a very special. You played at a very special time, in the Big East, when the Big East was, one of the most prominent conferences. What was it like? Bobby Martin was just talking about, like, there was never an off night in the Big East, the physicality, but like, coming out of high school, what was your first impression that of the Big East, going as the conference schedule, as you would go through the conference schedule? Like, what is something that you would say, wow, you know, if I would have went to so-and-so, I wouldn't have to deal with this, you know, because the Big East, as you know, you lived it, you know, you dominated. I mean, it was a very prominent conference, you know, in those days.
Well, you got to look also like, Lang City was a physical team when we played. And then when you're going against teams like Camden and schools like Neptune, and that's tough people. And you playing against people who played in the league and things like that. So the physicality, how it was back then, it made you where you was used to it. So it didn't matter. It's just like just being prepared for it, and you know what you're going up against. So it was nothing easy. No night was easy in the Big East. So if you go in there half staff, you're going to get your butt kicked. So, the thing is, we went in, you got to go play like this is the last game. So it was always that way. And they came at us the same way. So when you got stuff like that, that's just going to make your confidence just tough all around.
Well, I guess the 85 season, you end up going up to Niagara and you end up losing. And that probably, they're probably still talking about that up there. So what happened in that game? Like, did you get
looking? Like you said, you like Niagara. You just want to really go to see Niagara Falls, and you're not really thinking about them. Thinking it's going to be a walkover. You playing some guys who really don't know what it is, and they came out and just kicked our butt. But the thing about it, it was an eye opener. And the thing is, we didn't go and play like we should have, and you underestimated that team, and get knocked off when you do things like that. So that was something to open your eyes and be like, you underestimate nobody. So we just came out after that. It was just a whole different team playing.
Now, in your Big East battles, who was somebody that you really, 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 I don't want to say because we're all Jersey guys here, we don't back away from anybody, but who was somebody that you didn't look forward to playing against, twice a year?
Well, like I said, I was considered a good defensive player, and the coach usually had me guard a lot of different sizes. But when you're in our conference, you're going against people like Reggie Williams, Billy Martin. Then you got Raphael Addison, and you just got players all around, like trying to with Ed Pickney and things like that. And you have tough players in the conference, so it's like the coach was like, Willie, you got him, you got this guy, you got this guy, and size it really didn't matter because I know I ended up guarding people 6'9", but he said if you could just slow them down, that would help. So but when the coach was telling me, he said, we look at you to do that. And that's how I looked at it. I took it to heart to where I'm going to do my best to try to shut down whoever I'm guarding.
And then entering the season, obviously you and Georgetown were the top of the heap. What were some of the things that coach said to you, or like how did he prepare for you? Because obviously, Chris was a senior. You had a stacked class. You had, Bill Willington. You had, Mark Jackson, Walter Berry. So the team was ready for success. So how did he get you prepared on the off season going into that season?
Well, it's like it's going to be a dogfight. It's like they didn't like us, we didn't like them, and you had to step up when you playing against those guys because they looking to crush us just as much as we want to crush them. So and then when you going against people like Patrick Ewing, like David Wingate, you have a class right there. That's some tough ball players, and they looking at us the same way. Like this is no cakewalk. So they coming out at us. So the thing about it, it just made us better. And then we think about when we lost to them, and we was like, all the teams, if they wasn't in it, we'd have probably won it.
Yeah.
And that's the year we just, we beat Villanova. So it was just like not our time, but it was just hate to say. It's like some of the guys I've seen on ESPN even said that one of the best teams that never win it.
For some reason, I guess you matched up better with Villanova, and Georgetown didn't match up better with Villanova. Villanova, I guess, because the two lefties with Mullen and Walter Berry, they just didn't do well. And you really only had one. You not really. You had only had one loss in the Big East, losing to Georgetown at the Garden. So I mean, it really in the Big East. So I mean, it was both you two guys. So going through the tournament, did you have any games that you had struggled with, or actually going through the Big East tournament? You just talk a little bit about that, because that was probably a harder trek to get to than the NCAA tournament.
Well, when you think about it, when you look at the Big East going through the tournament, it's almost like going through the NCAA tournament as well, because you got Syracuse, you have Georgetown, you have Boston College, you have Providence, Seton Hall. It was like no easy cakewalk through it. So when you get to the tournament, it's like, truthfully, it feels like a little sigh of relief, because you don't play some tough basketball teams in your conference alone.
Well, even Boston College, they were ranked, and they almost made it to the Final Four themselves. They made it to the Lincoln year, so
losing to Memphis State,
yeah. So
and that would have been a biggie. That would have been a first. That would have been a first in Boston College,
and it hasn't been done. I don't think any conference had three teams ever go to the Final Four. And as a fan, that was like it was great to see, especially the names. Everybody knew the names. It's not like it's now where you don't know where these kids are going, but everybody knew Patrick Ewing, like Ed Pickney. Everybody knew, all the players. Obviously you, and everybody knew the names for the Big East.
Oh yes, and like you said, it's like when you get there, it's almost, you figuring it's like, okay, we right back at the Big East finals. That's how I was looking. So just that conference alone was, it was something funny when they was talking about on I think it was Sports Illustrated, where they had the conferences, how they had like the ACC, the choir boys of the thing, and we was the bullies of the league. So and I put a smile on my face, like, yeah, we didn't take no job from nobody, and we didn't.
Absolutely, and that was listen, that was a great brand, I'll say, of basketball to watch. You had all 10 guys on the court that pretty much defended. It was basketball like we'll probably never ever see it. I mean, I know it's good, lately with the Johnnies coming back, and UConn coming back, and the Big East is coming back. There's a few teams that are ranked, but I don't think anything will ever compare to that conference. During that time, I mean, like you said, there were no easy games. The players were legendary, the coaches were legendary. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find. I mean, you had Raleigh Massimino, Coach Carnesecca, Coach Thompson, Patino coming up. It was Jim O'Brien right at Boston College. I mean,
Boeheim,
Boeheim,
and then I don't think PJ was at Seton Hall at that time. So it was,
yes, and you think about it, the Hall of Fame coaches, there's a whole bunch of them.
Absolutely,
and it's like you went anywhere in that conference, any of those schools, you was at a big time college, and then and you looking at it, telling them like, well, the talent's going to be, no matter where you go, it's going to be talent there. So I'm happy where I went, and I enjoyed it. I would have did it again. And I have no regrets and things like that. I just loved the school. I just loved everything about it and everything.
But just getting back to the, I mean, they always talked about there's no dorms, so a lot of players lived in New York City. So like, what do they do for the players there?
We had like the teams had like apartments we stayed at, so we was like maybe walking distance, maybe 10 minutes from campus, not too far. And you had maybe 2 or 3 of your teammates was in the apartment with you. So I had Mike Moses and Ron Stewart and Greg Jones, which is Shelton Jones' younger brother, who I roommated with. So it was like it was really nice. It was like having your own little apartment, and so it was like having your brother would stay with you. So that was good. That was good.
And what did you do for meals? You had a meal stipend, like, or
well, we had you always go to school and things like that, and we would go, and we had a little pizza place around the corner where, come to find out, the owner was his younger brother was one of the male cheerleaders on the team. So it was like you go there, they would take care of you, and it was just like a good family thing there. So it was like we would come in there and just sit and just chat up some stuff. And, you know, it was nice. It was just nice.
Now, Willie, shifting gears a little bit. Blacktop, Atlantic City, you versus Bobby Martin, 7 wins. Who wins and what's the score?
I'm winning all 7. He wouldn't go. He would give up after 4 and all like that. That Bobby's like a younger brother to me. I love him to death, and I'm not gonna talk about it, but I kind of like embarrassed him a little bit when we was younger in the summer league. I ain't gonna mention that, but he's like a younger brother. He was like, I had him under my wing for a good old while. Nice kid. It was some kid you enjoy just taking him no matter where. And he was respectful and things like that. And he was just a fun person to just be around. And I think I got him to go into the big league because I took him a couple of times just to see a couple of games and you know, to see how he developed. And plus he's a real good person. So, you know, I looked at him as like a younger brother and things to me. So to this day, he's my younger brother.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. He was a great guest. I mean, he really laid it out about Pittsburgh hoops. It was a pleasure to have him on.
And he's still involved in the game. I guess he's developing kids up in Boston with his with his academy that he's working with.
Okay. Yeah, because I know that time I spoke to him, that's what he said he was doing. It's like, well, me now, I have a 12-year-old son, and I follow him. I'm with him. I'm coaching. Try to train kids on the side as well. And I'm trying to do a little bit more, like now since my leg is getting better. So I want to do a little more to teach a lot of the kids the fundamentals, which a lot of them don't. You know, you look at the video games, thinking the video games is what's going to happen, not realizing it's not going to be the same once you step on that court. So
yeah, well, it goes by fast when you have kids, so just enjoy every moment.
Oh yeah. So it's like, you know, it's like when I look at my son, it's like they say, you gonna force him to play basketball? I'm like, no, well, he's excellent in football. He plays football and he playing basketball. So it's like whatever you want to do. So, but is year round traveling, and daddy going. So I just enjoy watching what he's doing.
Absolutely. And I guess you lose to Georgetown in the final of the Big East tournament. Like, how did that game go? Like for you, like you know, you end up losing by 12, but you know, obviously sometimes the score doesn't really dictate how the game went.
We just didn't play well, and we had the attitude of going, and you know, it's like, and they just played a little better than we did, and you know, it's a heartbreak to look at you that close. You know, but you that close, but yet you still that far away. And you just said, only if it wasn't Georgetown, you know, and if it was the other way around, us playing Villanova in the championship, it may have been something different. But Villanova they just shot excellent to beat them. So that tells you how strong Georgetown was.
Was that the infamous sweater game, or is that the sweater game when Thompson came out with the sweater? Or is that
that's in the Big East tournament. And when he came out with the sweater, and then the second half, coach came out with about like 10 tiles taped together. You know, so that was just something funny to see every time I see it, and you know, it just makes you laugh.
But then you end up getting you and Georgetown were 1 and 2 for most of the year, and then I believe in the tournament they sent you out west for the west.
Yeah, well they got the East. We got the West, and we were like all number 1 seeds. So you know, we was number 1 on the West Coast. They was number 1 on the East Coast. So you know, it was like we'll see what happens, and we just go through our bracket and you know play, and we get to the Final Four, and who we see, them still there. You know. You hope they lose throughout the tournament, but you know they just was playing well. Coach Thompson had them ready each night.
And you end up playing North Carolina State, I guess, for the Elite Eight. So some of the guys on the other side of the fence, some of the kids you recruited that were in your recruiting process.
Well, I met 2 of them. Well, 2 of them that I knew a couple of them anyway, and before we even started, I got a chance to chat with them, and they were like, "Good seeing you again." And they were saying, "Well, we're gonna be sorry to see y'all leave after this." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, we see who'll be leaving." So we see how that turned out.
So, Willie, what would you say? What was as a college player playing with Chris Mullen? What was the biggest attribute that he offered as far as making his teammates better?
Well, I remember when I was one game particular when I was a freshman, and like I said, I started all 4 years, and I made a bad pass, which cost us the game. And Chris was the first person that came and grabbed me and just said, "Don't worry about it. We're going to see him again. We're going to see him again." Instead of him yelling at me or anything like that, he just grabbed me and said, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." He just made me just feel, like a big brother grabbing you, like, "Oh, it's all right. We're going to see them again. See them again." And right there, that's touched me. And then, he was just a fun person to be with. Like I said, the whole team was like having brothers with you. When you got 12 guys like your brothers playing with you, that makes you want to play better, because practice was a war. Practice was a war. And the thing about it, but like you said, you practicing with your brothers. So, you said you was just so glad you came there. You wasn't thinking about, "Now I need to transfer next year," or anything like that. But no, you just felt like you was the family. So I think that's where the love was with all of us. So, that's why I love them to this day. They are my brothers.
No, absolutely. You just hit the nail on the head too. That's another issue. Nowadays, back then there was no transfer portal, there was no NIL. Guys stayed pretty much for 4 years. Now it's free agency and college basketball. I mean, if you played today, what are your thoughts about the NIL programs?
The way when I look at it now, it's like, it is so, to me, it's like crazy, but a lot of it, what's going on, you're looking at how kids are now getting paid just for being off the TV and little things they doing off the internet. And I'm like, wow, getting paid. It's like they don't even have to make the league nowadays. A lot of them getting paid for just internet stuff. And then like you figure, okay, I'm not playing well here. Let me transfer next year and I can play the following year. It's like you can just go to different schools like it ain't nothing. So it's like, it's sad, but I guess it's business now. It's business.
Yeah,
I look at it more as business. Yeah. So, it's like, and you think about if we had all this back then, we would have been millionaires maybe to this day, sitting there looking at a whole bunch of stuff, how things went. And, like television wise, you have an internet thing. Oh, we would have all been like, yeah, I didn't make the league, but I'm still a millionaire. I didn't got a business started, or, things like that. But I'm not mad at him. I'm glad.
I don't think anybody's mad that they're getting paid.
Oh yeah.
Some of these people don't get taken advantage of.
Oh yeah.
And then, they don't blow their money. And next thing you know, 25, 26, and then it's like, their skills are diminished. And now what do they do?
Exactly. That's true. So true.
And one name I got to throw at you, because he started coaching in my hometown of Elizabeth, New Jersey, was Al Ababo. I know he was on Consiglieres staff. You have any thoughts about Coach Al?
That's who was my man, because he was the defensive specialist, and he would get on me before any game and be like, pull me aside, well, shut him down. And, he had a little language with him, which I'm not going to say, but it was funny. But he hyped me up, and great guy. He, like I said, another uncle. That's your uncle now. So, and how he would just tell me straight out and and if I didn't stop somebody and somebody made a shot on me, he'd come to me and pull me to the side like, why is he scoring on you? Why is he scoring? I want you to be up in his jock. And when you listen to him, it's like you just ready to ball.
Yeah. And how was his relationship with Consiglieres? I know they both started out in high school. How was their relationship? So I know he had to send him down the other end of the bench because he couldn't take him, but he was like, how was their relationship?
Like you said, two brothers. Like he's like, one wanted to be coach, and the other was like, would you please be quiet? You please be quiet. And it would be sometimes you could see him getting hyped, because sometimes we would sit on the bench and maybe laugh, because when he get a little hyped and things like that, and you look over there and he was jumping up on the side, and then he would kind of grab his seat and all like that. And it would be kind of make you laugh just to watch him. So, he was just great. He was just great.
And I gotta be remiss, your relationship with Cornseca, he ended up passing away, I guess, in November. When did you attend the funeral, and like, what was his relationship with you?
No doubt about it. I have pictures to this day of like with my son. I introduced my son and all like this, and I was telling Coach, I said my son want to sign with St. John's right now. I know he's only about like 9, but he want to sign, and he was like, "Oh yeah," and then he did a little tap on the face on him, and things like that, and it really hurt when you there and you at the funeral and things like that, and it's like I said, it's like you lost your father. So, and then when you see all the other teammates that are there, and a lot of us took pictures together, and we said it is sad to come together for this, and we was hoping to do something special for his turning 100 years old, and it just didn't make it, but it was a sad time once I heard the news. So it's like it just hurt really bad.
But he left a legacy on us, especially St. John's. He went there, he coached there, and he had success there. But I mean, turn into this year's team, they're ranked. You gotta believe that Coach is smiling from above at what Pitino has done with this team. And then as an alum, what if you describe how the Madison Square Garden is? In the last game I watched this week, I mean, the Garden was rocking. I mean, it was rocking.
Oh yes, it's been a little tough. Even when I would call a friend of mine, Sterling, to get see about some tickets and things, and he was like, "Willie, it's just kind of tough because it's been sold out. I can maybe get you in and things like that, but majority of the time I would like to take my son and things like. But I have no problem with that as long as they winning. And I even put my little bid in for March. So he just enjoyed coming to the game just to look at where I played at and things, and they winning, they rolling, and like you said, it makes you proud because like you said, St. John's now. So and it had a Garden rocking like it is, and it definitely bring back memories.
Well, I think also too. I mean, there was talk about UConn leaving the Big East. Going, they have football they're still going to deal with. In some regards, I would say that St. John's probably saved the Big East because now you get kids that want to play there. That want to go play in the league in the Big East again. So in some regards, they might have reestablished themselves. I mean, you still got Marquette, Creighton, obviously UConn, which they play on Sunday. But it's good having a rivalry in the Big East.
Yeah, like you said. Well, I think a lot of times, like you said, how they done the football, which is understandable. Again, it's money. So, and then when you got people like Syracuse and Boston College, which got, big football programs as well, and in Pittsburgh. So, we've even got talking about Pittsburgh, which was in the Big East. So, that was the football powers. And like you said, they want to put them all in a conference, which kind of really, when they did that, they kind of really broke up the original Big East. And again, you look at it, football is going to draw more than basketball anytime. So 50,000 compared to 20,000, that's $30,000 more money to get. So it's understandable, and like I said, it's sad, but it's also a business.
And then after when you go ahead, Jerry.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, the Garden is a big part of St. John's basketball, and to see the Garden, where I think there was a time where a lot of people weren't sure that if St. John's could get back to that national prominence, it's been unbelievable to watch these games at the Garden this year. The place is rocking. It is like the old days. It is like the days when you played. I mean, a credit to Coach Pitino when he took over. he said, he goes, we want to get this program back to where Louis had it. And he referenced, the creating the atmosphere or getting the atmosphere at the Garden to where, it should be. And, I just really, really, really am happy for the program. I mean, being a Knicks fan, I mean, I always liked Rick Pitino. He was coaching the Knicks a little bit. But again, I mean, he's done a remarkable job, and it is great for this area, for the New Jersey, New York area, to see St. John's doing so well and to see the Garden absolutely rocking. So as an ex-player, I mean, you have to be beaming with pride.
Oh yes, it's like even I remember the last game. I went to the Garden. It was me and my girl and her daughter. And she was like, it was like this. I was like, yes, it was like this. And she couldn't believe it because she was like, this is a pro building. I'm like, but we had this place jammed to the top. And it was like, it was like St. John's was like New York's team for sure. Now again, St. John's is New York's team. So you love to see that. You definitely love to see that. Definitely makes you happy and proud of where you being away.
Yeah, you see Carl Banks sitting courtside with his St. John starter jacket.
Yeah, so.
Oh yeah,
the starter jackets are back, baby.
Yeah, you remember those?
Yeah. He had a Georgetown one.
I had the gray Georgetown. I can't lie.
Okay, I had me a white St. John's. So I remember those jackets. I remember those.
Just talk a little bit about yourself. So after you left St. John's, what ended up happening? I think you work as an inspector now for Atlantic City, and I think you were in the ledger business. I guess one of the articles you're in the book business. But what did you do after you left St. John's? Did you try to give it a go professionally, or?
Well, I got drafted the first pick by the Lakers after they won the championship, and I was thinking that I had a good shot because I was hanging with Byron Scott, and he was taking me everywhere, and he just said keep playing like you are, and I think I was going against a guy named Jeff Lamp, who was I think a shooting guy from Virginia, and I felt I outplayed him, but again, I think they didn't want to break the team they had because if you win a championship, you want to really keep who you had. And come to find out, they also drafted a high school teammate of mine, Rob Talley, and he was like the second pick for him. So it was funny to have one of your teammates from high school here out with you out of all the draft picks they can pick, and it just didn't work out. And then I went to North Carolina and just stayed with my mom for a while. And then I ended up playing overseas for about 8 years before I messed up my Achilles, which, took a lot of that down. So after that, it's back home in Atlantic City where I'm a mercantile inspector in the city of Atlantic City. And, I enjoy what I do. And, it's good to still see a lot of people that reflects on what you did in college and you being from the area, and it's just good to see how people even remember how long ago that was. And you think about it's like 60 years old now, and it's like almost 40 something years ago, and they still remember you. And I had people telling me what I did, I don't even remember. And say they was at the game and this and that, and it's just wonderful to hear and things like that.
Yeah, I was watching something on Instagram, and I'll leave you with this, and I'll pass it along to Jerry. I don't want to take any more of your time, really, because I know you got to heal up. But I guess they were talking about a player in Chicago, Ronnie Fields, and they were just talking about everybody remembers the high school legends. They might be a legend in college and pros, but everybody coming from where Jerry's from Jersey City, I'm from Elizabeth, you're from Atlantic City. Everybody remembers the standout players in high school, and that always it just goes through the neighborhood, and everybody remembers that. So I think that's true. That, everybody's said that. But listen, boy, I know we've been going back and forth on it, and you had surgery, and then you were in court one day. So I appreciate the time. I appreciate you setting this up.
I apologize for being this long because we just had a couple of mishaps, and I really enjoy talking with you guys. It's just good to talk about a lot of this a lot of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we appreciate it. Well, if I want to pass along to Jerry, and it can usually finish out the episode, but this episode was produced by Chop Sports Media, Dave Sturcio. But Jerry, why don't you take us out? I know you got some parting Georgetown shots for.
No, never. So Willie, thanks. I'll let you off easy. I gave all my shots to Bobby. So, Willie, again, thanks for joining us. I mean, me and Jimmy, having someone like you on and what you did in your career. I mean, we look very fondly back, at those times in the Big East. So again, thanks for joining us. All the best health to you, in your recovery. We'll definitely keep in touch.
Appreciate it.
Big game on Sunday. Go Giants.
Oh, yes, they do. Go Giants. Yeah. Redmond for life.
Yeah, we'll heal up and try to get that starter jacket. Find out what that white starter jacket is. See if
I know. So my son going to take it from me probably. All right. Appreciate it, guys. You have a good one.
All right, Willie.
All right. Thanks, Willie.
Thanks again.
All right.
All the best. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.